gonna be honest. Uh, I I could transition. What do you think, Wesker? My theory about why Art the Clown and Terrifier blew up so much. That would be what, the third or fourth segment. I did Artist and Trapper. I did Tall Man and Candyman won't be in the game. I think I'm gonna do a third segment in this. Oh God! Like, here's the thing. My subjective taste. I don't even want to put Art the Clown in the search engine. I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm disgusted by it. I love horror movies. I don't like. Look at the blood. Look at the screaming. Like, blah, blah. Like, it makes me feel like I got infected by plague and DBD. I feel like constantly gagging and puking when I watch a movie like that. I've seen enough clips and heard enough about what happens to the like fake Santa Claus guy. Get me away from that stuff. But here's my thing. I have a theory. Let's see if anybody else is say it. Why is Terrifier? Why is Terrifier rated R? Is that a question, sir? Excuse me, sir, this is a Wendy's. Excuse me, sir, this is planet Earth. Why is Terrifier liked so much? Yeah. Let's see if I can... Yeah. Here we go. I watched the second one last night. Well, half of it. Realized there was another hour left and gave up. Personally, I thought it was rubbish. Almost no storyline and bad acting. Well, the bad acting, actually, I probably agree with most of what this guy is saying. Bad acting in a horror movie is not necessarily a bad thing for me. The kills were great, but also very gory, which I guess is what we wanted. Slash, felt like you were just trudging along waiting for the next kill. I don't understand why it's been so hyped. So I have a theory about why it's so hyped. My theory is, yeah, that's true. Like, there's always a multiplier when things get big. Then the sheep go, oh, it's big, I must like it too. And then it grows bigger and bigger. But at the root of it, what caused it to blow up? Yeah, the hype train happened. But what was the spark? I believe the spark was, I don't know if you guys heard the idea. Like, for instance, a lot of times it's used in politics or society. The pendulum. Things get really extreme over here, and then things get extreme over here as a response. There's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of flux and ups and downs about trends and zeitgeists. I think elevated horror became such a thing, like Babadook and It Follows, and I feel like Hereditary is elevated horror story. It is definitely elevated horror is very cinematic. I think there was so much elevated horror that stuff like, oh, what was the one? The Knot Twins. The one with the chick that hit her head because her husband was being a knuckleheaded no riz ratio plus L plus you get no bitches jerk. She hit her head and then the twin came to life. What was that called? I think movies like that, it was made by the Saw guy. Movies like that have been eaten well because it's a response to elevated horror. I think there's horror fans that get sick of the subtextual analysis of society and existential dread. I think they got sick of it and they just want some thick ass. I don't understand the meaning of mime and clown. Like some muddled, weird clown mime guy that hacks people up and there's blood everywhere. They just wanted to get back to Texas. Well, I would say Texas Chainsaw Massacre has more subtextual thought to it than you would think. There's more subtextual narrative to Texas Chainsaw Massacre than Terrifier. I'll say that. So maybe that's not the best one. They wanted to get back to bleh. And I think it's a response. And I think I understand it. People have different tastes. And if you're getting this hoity-toity, probably perceived as, hey, look at my big brain horror movie, you're like, where's the nausea? I want to feel like I'm puking today. I want a puke bag while I watch my horror movie. I don't want to think. I want to barf. Give me barf over think. You got think or barf with a horror movie. They were getting sick of the think. Maybe he was getting tired. I don't know. I like it. Oh, look at Get Out. Think versus barf. I think too, like, look at Get Out. Like, someone could actually argue too. It almost like verges on woke. Imagine if you were not into let's talk about society and the human experience and you just wanted to see some blood and guts and you wanted to have a big barf. You're not going to watch Get Out. You're not going to watch Babadook. You're not going to watch It Follows. You're not going to watch a series of horror movies that were all elevated horror. Oh, I love it. Watch this. So I'm just going by memory here. Let's go elevated horror tier list. Okay. I see Myers. That's not elevated. Oh. Is Tusk elevated horror? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. At first, there's Hereditary. Yep. Where's this? Is this on Tier Maker? Okay. What do we have here? I don't even know some of these. Yeah. Yeah, I would consider Exorcist. Some of these are interesting. It's not like contemporary elevated horror, but you realize something. They're making me realize something. There's always been elevated horror. Oh, there we go. See? Uh, Witch. Elevated horror. They're getting tired of the arty farty stuff, man. That's what I think is going on. They're getting tired of the arty farty stuff. They want to see some blood and guts spraying all over the POV for 2.5 hours. So, preachy too. Yeah, okay. Maybe that's also what. Okay, that I'm into. I love. Now I don't know what the difference is because Thanksgiving didn't really pull punches, but I liked Thanksgiving in a way that I could never like Terrifier. It's like it's. How do I explain it? It's like if you had food and you had spicy. And Thanksgiving by Ellie Roth, by the way. I think that's, by the way, I think that's Ellie Roth's best movie, is Thanksgiving. I really do. You know how some people think you get diminishing returns with artists over time? Yeah, sure, there tends to be a pattern, but there's huge exceptions. Ellie Roth's best movie is his last movie. Pretty sure I've seen all of his movies. Oh my god! Was that an Ellie Roth movie with Keanu Reeves? This was awful, dude. Oh my god. Oh my god, this movie was so fucking terrible, dude. Oh my god, yeah. This movie was so terrible. Like, he's made some real dog shit. And I think in general, he's overrated. However, oh, what? What the hell, dude? He did Borderlands? Oh, I'm suddenly interested. Ellie Roth did this? Yeah. See, that, I think, thank you for keeping me on track with your comment. I think Thanksgiving is also an answer to the elevated horror. You just want to see some horror. That's the one that works for me, though. For me, Terrifier doesn't work for me. I'll continue the analogy. Say you have a dish, and it's real spicy. Both dishes are really spicy. Thanksgiving and Terrifier are both very spicy. But you eat Thanksgiving, right? And it's kind of fun. And there's not a thing that the Terrifier has. I feel like I'm eating rot. Feels rot. You know, like you're eating something that's been out for 2 days. Terrifier is like you've been eating something out for 2 days. Yeah, it's spicy, but it's rotten. Thanksgiving is spicy and oh, it's just spicy. You don't taste rot. You taste spice. I love that movie. I think it's his best movie. I can't say 100% it's his best movie ever because he just came out with another thing. I guess like Cabin Fever. Yeah, okay, it is what it is. Uh, Hostel. That was his big smash, right? That's probably his most popular movie. I like Hostel better. Green Inferno was basically like watered down Cannibal Holocaust. This movie was very strange. Yeah, Thanksgiving was cool, man. Ooh. Yeah, you're making me realize I wouldn't call it elevated. But these people, they don't want a subtextual message. They just want horror popcorn horror movie. You're right. Oh my god, you're right. There was. Oh my god. In a way, I didn't think of this. In a way, it is elevated horror at the beginning, although it wasn't really directed as elevated horror, but there was really a social message about people trampling each other during Black Friday. You know what I mean? Like there was a message. Was it elevated? Ooh, I don't know. But more so, way more elevated. If you just look at all films and put them on a continuum for elevated horror, it was way more elevated than say Terrifier. I almost called Terrifier Slayer, like the old metal band. Anyway, um, yeah, I think Terrifier when you have the pendulum swinging. I think that Terrifier is eaten well because there is a community in the horror movies that are getting sick of the elevated horror. They're getting sick of this subtextual analysis of what it is to be as a human, what is man, a miserable pile of secrets. They're getting sick of this stuff. They just want the blood. Yeah, they want pure popcorn, no butter. Or just pure butter, no popcorn. If you want, because the butter is the bad stuff, right? Let's see. Let me make sure that what is elevated horror. No, it did. You know what? I kind of missed it. But you know, I didn't really focus on the butter, the proverbial butter. But I like a movie with a little bit of butter. Maybe that's why I like, maybe that's why I like a movie like Thanksgiving better than Terrifier. There's at least a little bit of thought. You know, there's a little bit of brain involved. Oh my god, it's so funny, dude. So like Green Inferno, he put a little bit of thought in it. Where this guy, where you know through the movie is a complete POS, where people are wearing shirts of saying free and then his name and a picture of him, but you know as the watcher, the guy's a POS. And it's a lot like the Che Guevara shirts, right? So it's almost like a pissing on college students with the Che Guevara. Although that's not a thing anymore. I always feel like Eli Roth is always about 10 years a little behind on what's going on. Sometimes. Elevated horror is a subgenre of horror that emphasizes emotional and psychological depth. Yeah. We're not doing that with Terrifier. Over traditional horror elements like jump scares and gore. Exactly. This is what I mean. Now remember something. I think there's actually a psychological component to this. When people are high intelligent and they're talking to people, let's say they're talking about anything. The intelligent person goes X, Y, Z. And the unintelligent person goes, I've heard of X, but what about Y and Z? I don't know about Z. Oh no, I'll prove it to you. Here's Z. This is yada, yada, yada. And it correlates to Y and X this way. There is a thing in the human brain that actually triggers a threat when this happens. People feel instinctually threatened. I think that many horror movie fans, although the elevated horror brought in some hoity-toity style viewers that want to be challenged intellectually and want to be stimulated intellectually, I think it alienated and threatened the fans that want what you're saying, proverbial no butter on their popcorn. They feel threatened and insulted by it. And I think that really it's refreshing. It's refreshing to them to get something that isn't like that. Okay, well, we got three things. We got Artist versus Trapper. I don't think there'll be Tall Man and Candyman and DVD. And then we got Why is Terrifier popular? I think on that note, we are going to end the stream. Thank you for coming in, everybody.